name is Carlos Horta, and I'm the president and CEO of the Hispanic Association on Corporate Responsibility. The idea is to gather Latinos that sit on corporate boards, along with senior executives from Fortune 500 companies. When I came to my first ASER meeting in 1998, I realized the power of the organization and how unique it was, and how all these leaders gathered together to push corporate America to do more for Latinos, both on the executive level as well as the board of directors. You know, we're 50 million, that's what the census says. I believe we're probably closer to 60 or 65 million. There's a lot of Latinos that were not counted in the census. We're now the largest minority community in this country, and we're underrepresented in every sector. This is our time. We need to really step up to the plate, and we need to own it.
My name is Monica Lozano. I am the Chief Executive Officer of Imprimedia. It was a newspaper started by my grandfather in Los Angeles in 1926, so that was 85 years ago. I'm third generation. I serve on two publicly traded boards, the Bank of America and the Walt Disney Company. Who do I go and talk to about challenges that I'm having as a corporate director? There's another question, which is, what is my role as a Hispanic director? And that you don't talk about necessarily when you're with your peers, other board members, because there you're just there to be a good director for that company. You know, sometimes you feel alone. And it may be because you're the only woman around the table, and maybe because you're Latina. I came to be involved with ASER primarily through the executive director. I came to one session a number of years ago and decided that I just needed to keep coming back.
My name is Charles Garcia. I am the CEO of Garcia Trujillo, which is a merchant bank, private equity firm, and consulting firm. I grew up in the Republic of Panama. I went to the Air Force Academy to college, then I went back to Panama in the service. And then I came to Washington as a White House Fellow, went to Columbia Law School, and after law school I decided to start a business. And I started a business with 3 people. I grew it to 60 offices in 7 countries. We're the fastest growing Hispanic-owned business in the United States. Because of the way I look American, but I speak fluent Spanish. I lived 20 years in Latin America and 30 years now in the US, so I can bridge both cultures. There's 50 million Hispanics in the United States. It's going to increase to 133 million in 40 years. That's 2.1 million more Hispanics every year. The buying power is growing 100 billion per year. By 2015, the buying power would be $1.5 trillion. That would make this Hispanic nation the 10th largest economy in the world after China, the US, Germany, all these big countries. I think everybody needs to have a mission, and my mission is to help Hispanic organizations have a bold vision of the future and help them achieve it.
We Hispanics are more extremely passionate. And I think there's a realization of, that we have all worked extremely hard to get to a place that many of us have had difficulties in getting to. Many of us have been at this a long time, and even 10 years ago, didn't even think that we would see 140 or 150 Hispanic directors of Fortune 1000 companies.
My name is Patricia Diaz-Dennis, and my current professional position is retired. I was a Senior Vice President, Assistant General Counsel for AT&T, and I retired 2 years ago. If I had to say what I love most is that there's things that we've all overcome that are very similar. I've always been pretty much the only woman, first Latina. This is a way that we can make time and then also strengthen each other.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Many of us are looking at the future and considering serving on corporate boards. A lot of it is really about networking. My name is Raquel Egusquiza, but everyone calls me Rocky. My current professional position is Vice President of Multicultural Markets for AARP. How do we create and develop that pipeline for that corporate governance? And how do we continue to develop Latinos, both young Latinos, corporate executives, continue to really mine that talent? As we look ahead into the future in the next 20 years, it's no longer going to be a minority community. The general market will be the Hispanic community. And if we're not prepared to service the Hispanic community, as organizations and as corporations, we're going to be in peril.
My name is Saul Trujillo. I'm the first native-born Hispanic to become a CEO of a Fortune 150 company. Nobody has followed that yet, which I find the unfortunate part. The first part was fortunate for me personally, but I don't take great satisfaction when you open a door and there aren't others that follow through. So then you have to take the step back and look at how do you change that?
We thought that once some of us made it into the corporate boardrooms that there would be an exponential growth, especially given the demographics in our country. Hasn't happened.
The critical thing for us, Sid, is that the needle's not moving. And when you look at the level of Hispanic representation on corporate boards over the last few years, it's actually gone down.
From the research that we've seen here this week, there are 872 Fortune 1000 companies that have 0 Hispanic directors. For way too long, I got kind of very discouraged in hearing corporate America say, you know, particularly on the supplier diversity side, we love to do business with Hispanics, but we just can't find them. And my message to corporate America is that's very funny, because when you're looking to sell me your product and service, you can find me because you know how to advertise to the Hispanic community. So you have the business model. You just don't want to apply the business model when it comes to unlocking the doors of business opportunity or unlocking the doors of the corporate boardroom. So don't tell me you don't get it and you can't find it.
Someone's got to hold corporate America accountable for a population that is very important to the future of this country. I think that's positive. I think we've got to, though, at the 25th anniversary, step back and say, where do we have in essence, the credibility to turn up the heat in areas where companies are underperforming? I think we've got to be realistic about what an organization like this can do.
The idea was, how do we engage more people in a collaborative fashion about why do we think it is the way it is, and how do we make it better?
You know, I would like to see if there's a way that we can develop a strategy to start to engage our CEOs of the respective boards that we sit in, to come and get them involved in a dialogue that can also serve possibly as a best practice for us that we can leverage and unlock the opportunities for not only us, but those Latinos that are sitting in the other room that are in corporate America that have some skill sets where I'm sure hopefully they want to be sitting in this room, 3 or 4 or 5 years from now.
I think, unfortunately, Hispanics as a culture are not very aggressive in asking for things. The African American community is much better at being aggressive and pounding the table and saying, let us in. I would look at the 800 companies that don't have a Hispanic on the board and then cross-reference to see how many of those 800 don't have a black director either. So maybe it's a 500 list. So I would meet with them and say, okay guys, there's 500 or half the Fortune 500 have no brown or black director. Let's work together on an initiative to change that. I think you have to play an insider game.
I think that we would probably be surprised about our power if we were to go to some of these different groups and meet with them and make the business case and get them mobilized. I also think ASER needs to knock on the door of the 872 companies that don't have a Hispanic director. I think we have to be bolder.
As we get more aggressive in engaging and going after companies, there's going to be certain conflicts that arise if we have to go take on one of your companies.
Working around the edges has only gotten us so far, and it's time for us to push forward. And if we're going to do it, let's do it. And everybody commit to doing this and do it deliberately and do it for time. And I think we're there.
I would like to welcome everyone to Mount Vernon, a wonderful place steeped in history. In our own way, we are also making history at ASER. We are now 25 years old, gaining momentum and positioning ourselves for greater success over the next 25 years.
The power of one individual partnered with another individual can equate to not two individuals, but really 3 or 4 or more. It's called the network effect. And that's the way change happens. And when I think about my country, the United States of America, its greatness is going to be enhanced by the inclusion, the participation, the engagement of Hispanics going forward.